Look at your garden on a bitter winter day. Every vegetable you once carefully planted, from spinach and lettuce to rows of chili peppers, has collapsed under ice and snow, except for this 2-meter giant, with its stubborn, woody trunk and vibrant purple canopy, bursting with life even as temperatures fall below freezing. What's remarkable is that the more it's battered by snowstorms, the sweeter it tastes, sweeter even than ripe strawberries in the height of summer. But here's the truly crazy part. While the rest of the world drinks milk to get calcium, just a few leaves of this purple vegetable can give you as much calcium as a large glass of cow's milk, along with nearly 10 times your daily requirement of vitamin K. You didn't hear that wrong. This is one of the rare perennial superfoods that can strengthen and make your bones more resilient. It contains powerful levels of anthocyanins comparable to blueberries, and you only need to plant it once to harvest this nutrition for the next 20 years. This is the purple tree collard, scientifically known as Brassica oleracea variety acephala, the only vegetable in the world that defies biological rules. It ignores frost, laughs at scorching heat, and requires just a single planting to provide premium nutrition for the next 2 decades. So why isn't this immortal plant in every garden? Why has something so important been hidden from the American public? Welcome to the Veiled Harvest. Let's dig deeper into the truth. The story begins on the harsh limestone cliffs of the Mediterranean coast 5,000 years ago. While other plants chose to bloom quickly and die to preserve their species, the ancestor of this plant chose a different path: eternity. It refused to pour its energy into seeds and instead focused on becoming wood. Coastal Mediterranean communities harvested their leaves to make stews and soups. Thanks to its ability to withstand frost, it became their only source of vitamin C and minerals, helping them avoid scurvy during the long winter months. Over the centuries, this immortal plant followed explorers across Europe. On the island of Jersey in England, it grew to 5 meters tall, with a trunk so strong that people used it as walking sticks for tourists and the nobility, and even as roofing beams. It was no longer just a vegetable. It had become a living building material. It traveled with enslaved people from West Africa to North America. In small, unforgiving garden plots, Black communities resiliently selected plants that never flowered and carried the deepest purple pigments, able to withstand both bone-chilling cold and searing heat. In the early 20th century, it quietly existed as a strategic asset in California, where people used it as a plant-based source of protein and calcium when meat and dairy were rationed. But when chemical agriculture and supermarket systems rose to dominance, this plant was pushed aside because it was too resilient. It didn't generate repeat profits for corporations. For half a century, it survived in the shadows, passed along through cuttings between old neighbors, waiting for the day we would wake up. Why do you need to grow this plant in your own garden? Listen carefully, because you're not just growing vegetables. You're owning a true pharmaceutical factory right in your backyard. First, look at the deep, vivid purple on those massive leaves. That is anthocyanin, the planet's most precious antioxidant superweapon. It contains anthocyanin levels comparable to blueberries, dozens of times higher than the leafy greens you buy at the supermarket. Especially in winter, to protect itself from ultraviolet rays and thermal stress, the plant concentrates these pigments. Every leaf you harvest in the frost is a powerful anti-inflammatory capsule that helps protect your heart and clear free radicals from your body. Thanks to a root network that spans decades, its roots dig deep into ancient geological layers, tapping into hidden mineral reserves that short-lived vegetables never reach, drawing up massive amounts of vitamin K, calcium, and vitamin C. With just 100 grams a day, you take in 6 times your daily requirement of vitamin K, the golden key that binds calcium to your bones and keeps your blood vessels clear. The calcium content reaches nearly 270 milligrams, equivalent to a large glass of cow's milk. It also provides more vitamin C than an orange, helping to fully activate your immune system. Even more astonishing, those same 100 grams contain 5 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber, an impressive number for leafy greens, helping you stay full longer and stabilize blood sugar. And the best part? It contains extremely low levels of oxalates. If you've ever worried that spinach might contribute to kidney stones, with this plant, you can eat freely. It's a completely safe source of nutrition, a legacy from the deep earth, gifted to your long-term health. Most vegetables collapse when prolonged frost sets in, because the water in their cells freezes and shatters, killing the plant from the inside out. But the purple tree collard carries a biological miracle called cryoprotection, a cold protection mechanism. The moment it senses a deep drop in temperature, the plant activates its metabolic engine, converting all its stored starch into complex sugars. These sugars act like a natural antifreeze, lowering the freezing point and keeping the sap flowing vigorously even in the middle of a snowstorm. And the result? A magical gift for your taste buds. The colder it gets, the sweeter the leaves become. A chist, rich sweetness that no greenhouse-grown vegetable could ever replicate. In fact, there is still a common green, woody stem collard variety in existence today. However, because it lacks the purple pigment, it also lacks the super weapon. Anthocyanin, the most important antioxidant shield. Without that purple thermal jacket to absorb sunlight, the green variety can't withstand brutal cold the way its sibling can. When frost arrives, while the purple type powerfully converts sugars into sweetness and proudly reaches skyward, the green type is often easily subdued and turns tough and fibrous. That's why, if you want true immortality and extreme nutrition, purple is the only choice. If this plant is so incredible, why isn't it on the shelves of every supermarket? The disappearance of the purple tree collard is not a historical accident. It is the result of a silent conspiracy within industrial agriculture. First, there is the seed trap. Understand this. The global food industry is built on repetition. They need you to return to the store every spring to buy new seed packets. But the purple tree collard is a rebel. It is almost impossible to propagate from seed. The only way to get it is to cut a stem and plant it in the ground. You buy it once, or even get a cutting from a neighbor, and you have vegetables for 20 years. For seed corporations, this is an economic disaster. They can't patent it, can't package it, and can't sell it to you year after year. A plant that gives the grower freedom is the enemy of monopoly profits. Second, it's a logistics nightmare. Modern supermarkets demand uniformity. They need vegetables that can be tightly packed into foam crates, stacked onto trucks, and shipped thousands of miles without losing their shape. But look at this giant. Its broad, crisp leaves and tall, bulky stem are a massive challenge for industrial transport systems. It refuses to lie flat in small plastic bags. Because it can't be standardized for long-haul trucking, it's pushed aside in favor of weaker vegetables that are easier to package. And finally, there is the rise of chemical agriculture. After World War II, the world shifted to a model of fast farming. People wanted short-cycle crops that respond instantly to chemical fertilizers and can be harvested in 30 days. The purple tree collard, with its slow, resilient rhythm of growth, woody, accumulating nutrients over many years, became too slow in the eyes of tycoons who only understand monthly growth numbers. So how do you bring this rebel into your own garden? First, find a source. Don't look for it on supermarket shelves or in industrial seed shops. Look to sustainable gardening groups or permaculture communities. What you need is a stem cutting 15 to 20 centimeters long. That's not just a branch. It's a genetic clone containing the full strength of a lineage that has survived for 5,000 years. Second, awaken life. The process is incredibly simple. Strip off the older leaves at the bottom, leaving just a few young leaves at the top. Stick the stem into moist soil with an ideal pH of 6.5 to 7.5. Place it in partial shade for the first few weeks. With its fierce will to live, the cutting will automatically activate its root system, anchor itself into the earth, and begin its journey to become a giant. Third, living conditions. This plant doesn't demand pampering. It prefers full sun, but can also tolerate partial shade. It withstands the scorching heat of summer and scoffs at winter frost. However, to achieve the highest anthocyanin levels and the deepest sweetness, give it soil rich in organic matter with good drainage. It's a heavy eater, so a bit of compost each season will reward you with an enormous supply of food. Fourth, the biggest mistake beginners make is cutting the top of the plant. Never do this. Always harvest leaves from the bottom up. This helps the plant continue to grow tall like a proud purple palm. The more you harvest, the more vigorously it produces new leaves, providing you with a steady supply of greens month after month, year after year. Once those purple leaves are in your hands, turn them into nourishing dishes. If you want something refreshing, slice them thin for a salad with a little olive oil to fully absorb the vitamin K. But if you want the deepest sweetness, sauté them with garlic or cook them into soup. Under heat, the leaves become soft and silky while still retaining their signature crunch, releasing the deep sweetness the plant distilled from the cold. The leaves are so thick and durable that you can even use them in place of rice paper to make wraps, creating a culinary experience that is both unique and incredibly healthy. Growing a purple tree collard isn't a hobby. It's a profound declaration of independence from today's industrial agricultural system. Imagine 10 years from now, in the middle of a snowstorm, your purple giant, still standing tall, waiting to feed you. You're not just growing a vegetable, you're planting a legacy. Go find your cutting and let it grow. If you found this video helpful on your journey toward food freedom, don't forget to share it with others and subscribe to our channel. Because with every cutting that's passed on, one link in the old system is broken. Wishing you your very own giant in your backyard soon.